you ready for this?
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn. Hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Needs a boot? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
All right, well, welcome to episode 35 of Trollin HGC. Sorry about the intro being muted. That's a little strange, but that's okay. We have Bahgz hosting this show tonight. Well, Bahgz doing the producing of the show. I'm stuck in a hotel room right now. Can't really do much about it. And my bandwidth is a little bit sketchy. So we're going to make this work. But welcome to the 35th episode of Trollin HGC, a Heroes of the Storm podcast focused on esports, a member of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. I'm your host, LiQuid, and I'm joined today, as usual, by Bahgz. How's it going, man?
Dude, what is up? Happy to be here. Surprised that I'm here. I did the weekly blizz last night, barely, and here I am tonight, barely. I have been running a fever, hacking and coughing and sneezing, dying. So, but we're here, fam. So, let's do it.
We got a show to do. We got to do it, right? That's how it works. All right. Well, Patreon. I know you put a lot of work into Patreon. Updated us, got us some new stretch goals, got us some new rewards for various tiers of our patrons, and we're almost there. We're getting close to our first goal of our first stretch goal that we put out there. So, yeah, great job.
We're at $21 of 25 a month. So I know patrons Super Dave and Fringe Average have upped their monthly pledges and gotten us a lot closer to our first stretch goal, which is basically after every single podcast, we will do after show games. And right now we do them as we kind of can, but we will go above and beyond and out of our way to make sure that we do after show games for you guys, because you are, putting money towards that. So $4 a month away from reaching our very first stretch goal. So guys, thank you.
And Dave just dropping another 1,000 cheers on it, or 1,000. What are we calling those?
Whoa,
gems? Bits. Thank you, man. I am not with it tonight. Thank you, Dave, Super Dave, for the 1,000 more bits. And you finally got that top tier place. I know you're looking for that. Also, guys, something to keep in mind: all of our patrons. The money doesn't really. It's not. We're not looking to make money off this. We're looking to either do additional activities like turn entry-level esports into a podcast so you can listen to it on all the podcasting platforms. We use it to buy T-shirts for the community that we give away at BlizzCon. We're looking to do more giveaways and things like that. That's what this money's going to. It's definitely, not. It's supporting the show and supporting us giving stuff back to you guys, the community. So keep that in mind when you think about our Patreon.
It's all to improve our product.
Absolutely. We're growing. We're still growing. We're looking to add more positions. There's a number of people that have applied at trolls.gg/join. I will be dealing with those after Creators of the Storm, which is this weekend. I've been heads down working on Creators of the Storm with Daz, trying to get everything ready for that. So that's really been my focus, but I will be touching base with everybody that's applied. If you're interested in doing stuff with the Trolls, check out trolls.gg/join. There's still a number of positions up there that need to be filled, and we're definitely looking to add more awesome people to the team. In that vein, we have a Troll of the Week, Bahamut, who is actually one of the casters for Heroes Hype for Nexus Gaming Series. We'll be casting the semifinals and finals of Creators of the Storm with Tempo Storm coach Kala. So, really cool dude. Definitely does a lot for the community. We are picking him as our Troll of the Week this year. Thank you, Bahamut.
That's awesome. I'm glad he was able to fill in for us. I know we lost Halloran to Heroes of the Dorm, so it's glad to pick someone up of that caliber.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited, and he's super excited to do it. It's awesome. Like, everything worked out. We were gonna try and have him on the Nexus Trolls tomorrow night, but he's unavailable. So his first debut, if you will, on the Trolls.gg network will be Saturday evening for Creators of the Storm. So That's going to be a great tournament. Check it out. If you're not sure what Creators of the Storm is, it will be Saturday the 24th. I think that's the date. Saturday, right? Yep. And it runs basically all day.
4 days
Yeah,
away.
this Saturday. And check out trolls.gg/COTS if you want some news about that. It's definitely going to be a fun event. I'm excited for some of the game modes we have, and I've seen some of the work Daz has been putting on this week for it, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. So definitely check that out.
The merch store is up and running too, right? We announced that
Yes.
kind of live on the show last week, but there's even more stuff on there now. Like there's socks.
There's socks now. I mean, yeah. So there is a merch store. The merch store is just like the Patreon and everything else. We're using the merch store to make some things better and to cover some of the costs with the graphics designer that we hired. So we have 3 shirts out there right now, and we have a pair of socks. Definitely take a look at that. It's awesome. There's some great stuff out there. I have a bunch of stuff I need to buy. I haven't bought any yet. I also think there's some other merch that might be going up towards the weekend. And then we're also going to open up a Trolls GG store soon as well. So definitely stay on top of that. If you like, I don't know if you've looked at it. Have you seen the new logo shirt? The Creators of the Storm logo shirt he has out there?
I saw that one that's got the hexagon going on there.
And it's got the 4 class symbols, guys. I feel like I'm pimping this shirt out, and I don't mean to. I haven't actually looked at this one yet. It looks amazing, and it comes in a hoodie. I'm like, this is amazing. And on the back, it has the black and white logo. Like, definitely go check it out, guys. There's some really cool merchandise out there. Our graphics designer that's working on us with this stuff is absolutely amazing. And he's done all the show overlays. We're still tweaking some of them to get exactly where we want to be, but he's also working on all our show overlays. So I keep that man busy. All right, enough about what we're doing here, because I could talk about that all night. I'm super excited about Creators of the Storm this weekend.
It's gonna be a blast. I can't wait. All right, let's dive into the news.
Tonight on the Trolls.gg podcast network, Trollin HGC proudly presents Heroes Esports News, Notes, and Drama with your hosts, LiQuid and Bahgz.
All right, so only a little bit of news today that we're going to go over, and this totally caught me off guard. Bahgz did confirm this was the case. Red Canids completely dropped their roster.
Now it's depressing. I think part of it had to do with Jay Shrite left and Vieira retired a couple weeks ago, actually. So they were left with 3 guys. And I don't know if it was a matter of finding people to do it, or they weren't just happy with the quality of players that they were finding to play with them, or if Red Cannons just wanted to leave. I don't know the whole story. It's just something I wanted to make a note of because it's the team that has represented LATAM at all the not all the international events, but at least the 3 most recent ones. So
right. So, I mean, my money's on, like, if you look at the Liquipedia page, Jay Shrita left, which we know. Vieira retired, and now you're down to 3. And what do you do? And most of Latin America is complaining about the Latin American scene right now.
Yeah.
Like Sixth Sense is like depressed and like not happy, right? I'm sure FratRez feels the same way. Like, it doesn't surprise me at all. I wish it did. I wish Blizzard was putting into Latin America what they were putting into ANZ. I understand why they aren't right now, but I wish they were. I
just wanted to make a note of it and shout that out for everyone. Other than that, I couldn't think or find anything else news related to bring to the topic. HGA, Heroes has just been really quiet. There haven't been any team pickups. There haven't been any big, amateur scene tournament announcements. Just Dorm was a couple of weeks ago, but that's really it. It's been quiet, or no big drama explosions. So,
well, we won't see any really until the end of part 2, right? Where the roster swaps are opened up. We might see some leading into that.
I mean, someone could shoot out a scandalous tweet or something. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always possible, right? It's at some point Glaurong's gonna gonna tweet something and someone's gonna and like Zuna's gonna take offense to it, right?
Who knows? Who knows? But I just thought that was funny. It's just been quiet, a little quieter than it was last year. I feel like new rule changes or any announcements like that. HGC cheer or something along those lines.
Right. And there's nothing right now.
So, all right, let's dive into last week's results and we'll go from there.
Okay.
We're going to see Stitch's fall as well. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. It's the 1-for-1 trade as we once again have the Dragon Blade used on the side of Genji. He's tried that in. Dashes out, sail yellow.
That was just about the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's a dance party and you're invited.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to HGC Western Clash.
All right. So some repeat results from last week. Chinese League, no changes there. They are on break, but starting Monday, we get the playoffs. Super excited for that. They're going to go through stepladder playoff to determine who's going to the Eastern Clash for China. That's going to be great. First game is going to be Time Flow versus RPG. Then winner of that is taking on Beyond the Game, and then Sunny Lion start over again, and then winner of that plays the 1, and then winner of that plays CE. Winner of that plays Super Perfect Team, and then number 1 and winner of that. Or no, then the 2 winners go. Right? China gets 2 this year, don't they?
They get to send 3. So basically, assuming the 1 defeats their opponent, it'll be the 1 challenge in Super Perfect Team. But it depends on how the bracket shakes out. But top 3 go. So essentially, challenge and Super Perfect Team are already going, even though they're not locked in.
Right. They're just they gotta lock in their number 1 seed basically.
1 or number 2, right? But essentially, they're going. It's top 3.
Yeah.
Top 3.
Well, CE could end up getting defeated in the 3rd seed, right? So
they're guaranteed to at least be number 3.
Right. Cool. So that'll be fun. Watch for that starting Monday. Taiwan, like we said last week. Loli Miao, greatest name in Taiwanese history, defeated Soul Torturers and punched their ticket to Eastern Clash. Korea finishes this weekend. So we have all 4 teams are going. KSV Black, Ballistics Gaming, Tempest, and Team Blossom have all qualified. But then the 3rd and 4th seeds in Korea are still up for grabs between KSV Black and Blossom. I think KSV Black gets 3rd in this case. I'm not so down on them that I don't think they can take Blossom. Happy to see my boys in Tempest up in that 1st seed spot. They're going to win the Clash. You heard it here first. I love how they're in here though. Is KSV Black, Ballistics, and then Tempest. Like, dude.
That's when I'm in charge of the notes. That's how that works.
I know. I know, man. I know that's what happened there. That's like backwards in my head, but that's okay. So what do you think? You think Blossom wins to take 3rd place off KSV, or does KSV get that 3rd?
Here's
spot?
the thing. So KSV is certainly going to get the 3rd seed, and the reason why is they're playing Miracle as opposed to Blossom. We're playing Tempest. Now I've been the one that's down on Tempest on our show here, but I think we both firmly agree that Blossom's the 4th best team in Korea. They face KSV head to head, they would lose. So I don't see them beating Tempest, and I certainly don't see Miracle beating KSV. And if it's going to come down, and if it came down to map score, I could certainly see KSV coming out ahead with better map score than Blossom, because they are already significantly ahead in that regards. So
let me ask you a question.
What's up?
What if Tempest phones it in like Dig did this past weekend?
I wasn't so sure Dig phoned it in. I thought Zealots played well, but we'll see.
No, they did. I don't want to take it away from Zealots. I apologize. I love Zealots, and the Zealots know that. I just what if Tempest is like, meh, whatever. We'll show up. We'll play our game, but we're gonna run Cho'Gall 3 games in a row. You know what I mean? Like,
so there is a situation where potentially Blossom could defeat Tempest 3-0, and KSV Black could lose to Miracle, and Blossom would jump ahead of them. But let's assume in this scenario that KSV beats Miracle no matter what, and Tempest phones it in. So they both win. They both finish the season at 5-2.
Yep.
Blossom is 4 games back in the losers column in map score. So it's literally impossible for them to leapfrog them in map score.
Okay.
So the only way for Blossom to get the 3 seed is for KSV Black to lose to Miracle and Blossom to beat Tempest, and I just don't see that happen. So.
No, I definitely agree that won't happen. I just, it's always possible that Tempest decides, we're gonna try some weird stuff this weekend and see what happens.
Right.
You got a freebie, right? And maybe you don't. It's interesting. Gilly mentioned this past weekend. Like, you still want to win because this is only part 1. And yeah, you could be secure in your 1 seed going into the Western Clash because she was covering NA. But you still want to win because you still have to do well in part 2. And why set yourself up to be down a game in part 2 if you can go in and be undefeated in part 1, right? 6-0 or 7-0 rather in part 1 is better than 6-1 in part 1, right? When you're going into part 2. So I get it. I just curious, right? You never know what's going to happen.
So I pulled up the standings now just so I could show the viewers real quick. Basically, KSV sitting at 4-2, Blossom sitting at 4-2. But the difference is map score. KSV has a positive map score of 6 games. The Blossom's positive map score 2 games. So the Blossom's at 13-11 map score. KSV Black 13-7. There's no way Blossom could leapfrog them unless KSV Black lost to Miracle, which is probably unlikely to happen.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that.
Hey, what I'm here for.
All right, so let's go over to Europe. Europe, I was completely floored. Kudos, by the way, to Zealots handing the first defeat to Dignitas. Like, that was amazing. And it was interesting. You have a lot of notes here, and I'm going to let you go ahead and dive into this. But, like, I was over the moon when that happened.
Well, if I talk too much, I will inevitably cough or lose my voice. But I'll talk a little bit here. Zealots coming into this weekend, and we talked about this a little bit last week with DB Smiley. Zealots coming into this weekend had the smallest chance of qualifying for the Clash from Europe. Of the 3 teams that were tied at 3-3 in Europe, LiQuiud, Tricked, and Zealots had the highest hill to climb, and we all kind of blew them off. Except for DB, he left open the possibility that Dig would let their foot off the gas a little bit, so to speak, because they had already locked in the 1 seed.
Right.
But again, Zealots had the highest hill to climb because they needed to beat Dig, who were undefeated at the time, and the best team in Europe by a large margin, whereas Tricked only needed to beat Method or LiQuiud needed to beat Fnatic, which were, while difficult matchups for both of those teams, not nearly as difficult as the matchup Zealots faced. So it was probably going to come down to map score.
Right.
Unfortunately, Zealots threw a wrench in all of that by defeating Dig 3-1 and because of that, they qualified for the Clash because Tricked and LiQuiud were unable to win their matchups. So
this was Zealots' moment of saying, "Hold my beer." Like, I got this, guys. Watch this. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. I not only, like, my 2 underdogs won this weekend in EU. Zealots won against Dig of all people, and Leftovers finally snagged a win. Like, dude, what is going on? I was like, this was my weekend. Not only that, but Team LiQuiud lost 3-0 to Fnatic. I was like, this is wonderful. Like, this is all I could ask for. The only thing that would have been nicer was if Method played Tricked a little closer. I think, or rather, if Tricked played Method a little closer. I think Tricked has the ability. They couldn't just quite get there.
Method, in my opinion, is and I've been saying this for a while, I think they're the second best team in Europe. Now, Fnatic looked a lot better this weekend than they have.
Yes.
But I still think Method's probably the second best team. I thought LiQuiud had the best chance of qualifying for the Clash based on the matchups that we were seeing, and I thought Fnatic was vulnerable. And LiQuiud was, I thought, looking a little better this year. Unfortunately, they didn't work out like that at all.
No.
So the 4 teams that we got from Europe now going to the Clash are Dig, Fnatic, Method, and Zealots, right? And in that respective order too. And that's again based on map score. Fnatic has a slightly better map score than Method. They have identical match records at 5-2, but Fnatic has a positive 9 map win, and Method is sitting at a +8.
Right.
So the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway I want to take away from this weekend, and not to take away from Zealots, is I want to give a big shout out to our boy Lauber and Leftovers on picking up their first win.
Hell yes.
So
Absolutely.
They 3-0'd Diamond Skin, so big shout out to them. I was very happy to see that. I didn't actually catch it,
dude.
Unfortunately, I was sleeping.
They looked
at the time.
dominant.
Yeah.
Dominant. It was like there were a couple of moments where Diamond Skin looked okay in like individual matches, but like Leftovers were like, nope, this is our game today, and they just they came out and they did it. It was awesome.
I'm glad. I don't know if something clicked, or maybe it was just the drafts that day, or what it was, but I'm glad that they were able to get that win, because I know that it must have been frustrating up to that point to really struggle to just pick up even map wins, you know?
Right. And then we got all right. I was gonna jump to NA, but you have anything else you want to do in EU?
No, I just I wanted to ask you. You know, I mentioned that Fnatic looked a little bit better. Are they just gelling in time for the Clash? What do you think that was? It was just, you know, maybe nothing's been wrong, and then they're just that much better than LiQuid, and they're still gonna look, you know, out of sorts when playing against stiffer competition? Or
I think if you put Fnatic against harder competition, they're not gonna. I think they're getting to the place they should be. I think that's how I would describe it. They're not quite ready to retake their old glory, but they're on their way, right? So I think they're closer today than they were a month ago.
Okay.
But they're not. They still have a little ways to go. So.
Sorry, that's my dog's itching her neck. If you hear that collar.
I mean, you gotta scratch when you gotta scratch, right?
If you hear that collar jingling, I'm sorry. And then the next question I got for you is, what does this mean for LiQuid? So LiQuid made some big changes in the offseason. They certainly looked better. Now, what does this mean? Like, this is a big time org. This is an org that expects to be in the top 3 in Europe. This is an org that the Clash is not even truly an international event, and this is an org that expects to go to these. So here they are sitting at home when half the league gets to go and the other half doesn't. They're in the bottom half. That's what this means. And I mean, they're obviously kicking themselves, but why, how, what's going on? I don't understand.
All right, I'm going to try. You know what? I'm not going to try to be nice. LiQuid is EU's version of simplicity for me. And I hate to say that because I think LiQuid is better than simplicity. LiQuid needs. I don't want to say LiQuid needs to start fresh, but there's some more veteran players that need to be let go from Team LiQuid for them to be competitive. I think if you look at the game, and this isn't to say that like teams like Leftovers and what's another good one? LFM and even to a certain extent Zealots, like last year's Zealots, that new blood is what you really need. But I think if you look at something like Heroes Hearth as a blueprint, if you will, for an up and coming team, they took a couple of solid veterans that weren't like veterans forever and introduced a little bit of new blood, and they're looking solid. LiQuid kind of followed the simplicity route and took some veterans and some other veterans and said, hey, on paper, you guys look really good. Let's see if we can make this work. Right? And it's not quite working. So I think that team needs to make some more drastic changes.
Okay.
I don't know what those are though, right? I don't know what pieces of LiQuiud you keep, but now I'm gonna assume that Team LiQuiud owns the spot now, and Trent would know for sure, but I'm like relatively sure that uh, Team LiQuiud owns the spot.
They do.
And if they own the spot, like you have to ask yourself, who am I really gonna keep? Does it make sense to keep somebody? Does it make sense to take 5 new players? Does it make sense to, pick up like why am I going blank on this name? I'm sorry, hold on. Does it make sense to pick up somebody like Singularity or Epunks or Manticore, right? Like, yeah. Yeah, those are the questions that Team LiQuiud as an org has to be asking themselves right now. What are the pieces that we keep? How do we stay competitive? Or do we write HOTS off, bail on the team, and move out of Heroes of the Storm because we as an organization don't feel like we're making enough money off of it? Right? Like anything is possible for Team LiQuiud.
Why don't they just I don't know, buy out the Zealots roster? That's not a team that's picked up.
That's also something they could do. They could absolutely do that, right? And that's the question, right? Like, what's the right move for LiQuiud here?
I think that it's probably still too soon to say. They've only played every single other team once, and they were only a best of 5. And I think that if they don't, let's assume EU wins the Clash. All right.
Yep.
So midseason brawl, the EU gets to send 3 teams. If they don't make it into the top 3, then and it's going to be difficult because they pass either Method or Fnatic.
Right.
Then you make changes because that's the goal. Top 3. They are. I don't think the goal was with this roster coming into the season. I don't think the goal was top 1. I think the goal was top 3. So.
Oh, I would agree. I think Dig is the only one that realistically set a top 1 goal.
So. Well, I'd say Fnatic did too in their head, and maybe not Method, but certainly Fnatic. In their head, they were thinking top 1 because that's the team. The only reason why they made changes was they wanted to be the best team in the world.
They wanted to be the best team. Yeah, you're right.
And they felt.
But realistically, like Fnatic is smart enough to know, making a number of changes, it's difficult to be number 1 in the first part.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, okay. Continue.
So I think LiQuiud gives it. They missed out in the Clash. Yes, they're disappointed. Yes, they probably wish they could make some moves now, and they can't until the end of the next 5-week period. But I think as a fan base, we should. Yeah, we can be disappointed, but I think that before you chalk it up as like this is a failure, this squad is not going to get it done. Give it 5 more weeks, and we'll know for sure. If they can't hit top 3. Come in time for the midseason brawl, then it's time to bust it up. I don't think that it's time right now. They can't, even if they could, but I don't think if they could, I don't think it's time right now. I think it's give it 5 more weeks.
Okay,
that's my thought. I think I really like the roster. I like the changes that they made, and we'll see. Time will tell.
Okay.
I think that this roster is already performing better than the other one was at the end of the last season, and it's just needs consistency to take it to the next level. That's all.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Let's jump over to NA. NA was an interesting weekend. Team Freedom beat Simplicity 3-1, locking their status while kicking Simplicity out. That made me happy. If you haven't guessed, I really dislike Simplicity. I don't dislike the players. I just dislike the roster of Simplicity. I wouldn't mind like some of them being on other teams. I don't know what it is, man. Naventic 2.0, I'm not happy with it. And I feel really bad. Like I constantly question myself, like, should I be lighter on them because I'm doing a show about esports? And then what Trent always says on his show, it's my show. I can say what I want to. So Simplicity, I'm sorry, you are not my favorite team. Moving on.
I don't think anyone's
Tempo Storm, right? Tempo Storm swept GFE 3-0, which was amazing. And they looked
it
good.
Was hugely disappointing for GFE. So Simplicity, remember last week, I'm just going to circle back here for a second because I was fiddling around with the browser. Simplicity needed a lot of things to fall in their favor and to beat Team Freedom to qualify for the Clash, which didn't happen.
Right.
So their 0.3% chance of qualifying went up in flames pretty quickly.
Yep.
But GFE had a more realistic chance, right? So GFE needed to beat Temple Storm, a very tall order, but doable. And barring that, they needed Heroes Hearth to lose to LFM, also doable, and finish the season with a better map score than Heroes Hearth. Unfortunately, they got swept by a team that was all but assured a Clash spot, right? So GFE should have gone into this match being the hungrier team, and maybe they did. But getting swept tells me that it's like, how much, I don't want to question their effort, but the games indicate that there's something there. Like, you needed Heroes Hearth to lose, and you then not only they put themselves in a position because they were waiting for the Heroes Hearth match. Heroes Hearth only needed, because they lost to Temple Storm 3-0, Heroes Hearth only needed to win one map and could have just drafted 5 Gazlos, which is not even possible. But the point I'm trying to make is so extreme that Heroes Hearth could have thrown the next 3 games and lost 1-3 and still gone to the Clash because all they needed to do was win one map. GFE needed to, if they weren't going to win the series, they needed to push it to the full 5 because they needed to win a map score. And I'm probably beating a dead horse here. The players are already kicking themselves.
Right.
But they've got to be looking back to week 2 at the LFM matchup that they lost. They lost to LFM and saying, wow, if we had won that and won it convincingly, we'd be going to the Clash right now. Because that's the difference. Heroes Hearth beat LFM, and that was the difference in the match record. Right. So, long story short, what kind of point am I trying to make here? Is GFE, you got it. There are times when you need to rise to the occasion, and then there are times you need to stop being GFE. And that was last weekend was one of those times, man. Like, I don't know, it's an org, and I'm not saying the roster because the roster has changed a lot over the years, but it's an org that has consistently gone to international events or gotten to high-profile matchups and just not shown up. And I don't want to say shown up, but just not gotten the job done. So
yeah. Well, and that's been their MO lately, probably the last 14 months, maybe.
Yeah, no. So as an org though, because that roster's had huge upheaval since the beginning of last year.
Right. It's not the roster. It's the org as a whole, right? Which is a huge bummer for me. I love the org. I just wish they could close it out, you know. And I don't know if you saw the Heroes Hearth LFM, but man, that was a close series. That was a lot closer than I expected it to be. Heroes Hearth ended up winning 3-2. The stash is real. The stash is going to the Clash. But LFM looked better against a team that is potentially, top 4, top 3.
So I was able to do some armchair HGC alongside this series. So I watched it very closely with Ganjagoon this past weekend, and LFM looked good in 4 of the 5 matchups, man. Like, I think it was the Towers of Doom map was the only one that wasn't really that competitive. LFM looked really good and actually led 2-1 in this series, and I thought they were going to win it. So I just want to, not to take away from Heroes Hearth, beating them and qualifying for the Clash. They certainly earned it. They played extremely well this part 1. But just a little pat on the back to LFM. They didn't get the win. They're sitting at, I believe, 1-6, and that sucks. But I think there's some silver linings to take away from this matchup in particular, and to look forward to come part 2 as a team that could be scary, could be a really, really tough out for a lot of teams, and might play themselves out of the crucible. So let me switch over to this. I'll switch over the standings here real quick. They're sitting at 1-6. They are 7-20, so they are 13 games. They have a negative 13 map score, which is not the good. But it's behind Simplicity and Space Station Gaming. They're one match away. They win against Heroes Hearth. They're sitting at 2-5, probably still in last place based on map score, but very, very, close. It's just you win a couple of matches here and there that were competitive in. They start winning those in phase 2 and part 2. Maybe it's Simplicity. We're looking at Simplicity and Space Station in the Crucible.
That scares me, man. I mean, I that's probably based on if the trends continue from part 1 into part 2, I could see that being the case. And Space Station needs to make so the last game that we have to talk about in NA is Team 12 sweeping Space Station Gaming 3-0. Space Station Gaming is really, really struggling right now, and they need to make some changes. Unfortunately, I don't know that they can make. The question is, do they survive the end of part 2 going into the Crucible in order to make those changes?
Well, the team looked good in intermediate bursts against Team 12, and then they kind of, I don't know, then they would get just kind of blown over. And it's just, I agree with you. I don't know. They made some changes with Jay Shute shot calling and drafting.
Yep.
And I don't know if that continued through the Team 12 series or not. This is another team, I would say keep your eye out in part 2. They could either be significantly better, or it could be just as bad and head-scratching as they have been in this phase. I'd like to think that the talent on this roster is enough that even if they go to the Crucible, it doesn't matter. They'd beat whoever they end up coming up against. But at times when they look bad, And if we were to do a power rankings right now, I'd probably put LFM ahead of Space Station Gaming, and maybe even Simplicity, even though they've lost to both those teams. I think that LFM as a roster has grown enough.
That's the thing, right? You can see different trajectories based on the last couple of weeks. LFM has continually improved. They didn't get a win, or they weren't consistently doing well, but you could see them doing improving. So and Space Station is playing about where they have been. I agree. The game they had,
except for when they 3-1 Team Freedom, but yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. When they had him shot calling, when they had him drafting, things worked well.
I would assume they stuck with that for the Team 12 matchup. I don't know for sure though.
And that's a good question. I'll have to reach out to him and ask.
So,
but
all right. Well, ultimately, Team 12, they got the 2nd seed for the Western Clash from North America.
Yep.
They 3-0'd Space Station Gaming, whereas Team Freedom only 3-1 Simplicity. So 3-0 leads to a better map score than 3-1. So even though they finished with identical match records, Team 12 has a 1 game better map score. Ixnay, 2nd seed, NA in the Western Clash. So I figured if you want, we can take a quick look at the Western Clash. It's 2 weeks away, so I think we'll do a deeper dive next week.
We'll do a deep dive next week, yeah.
See if we can get on the show to join us and talk about it and kind of make our predictions and make a little bracket challenge or something and fill it out.
Yep.
Ultimately, the 8 teams that will be participating: EU number 1 seed Dig, EU number 2 seed Fnatic, EU number 3 seed Method, EU number 4 seed Zealots. The 1 seed from NA is Tempo Storm. The 2 seed from NA is Team 12. The 3 seed is Team Freedom, and the 4 seed from North America is Heroes Hearth. So big shout out to those teams, particularly Heroes Hearth, for coming in from the amateur scene and qualifying for an international. Yeah, we'll call it an international.
No, it's an international. It is. I think the deck is stacked against that team, though, man. That's Dig first. that's rough.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be, right? So
I know, I get it. I mean, like
you're supposed to be favored when you're the number 1 seed from your region.
Right?
Like technically, Tempo Storm should have the easiest matchup from North America. I mean, unfortunately, the disparity between NA and EU is pretty large. So it's
this is good though. So like a couple of times on the show over the last couple of weeks, people in chat and even people in our Discord have said EU looks stronger than NA. What happens when the number 4 in EU goes up against the number 1 in NA?
I guess we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out. And Zealots is a strong number 4. So it's not like we have a weak number 4 coming in. We have a strong number 4 coming in against a strong number 1 when they're playing their game and not I don't even know how I want to describe their little last couple of days, or last couple of weeks. So, you know, I think this will be good. I'm looking forward to these games.
I will leave my predictions for next week, but I do wanted to highlight a couple more things. The casting talent that we will have there is Caldor Trixler, Jayhao Gillyweed, as expected. But joining us again is Dreadnought, so he's making his triumphant return, and I'm assuming he'll be phasing his way in as Gilly will be phasing her way out for the rest of Phase 1.
Yep, so, that's the plan.
We will have them both for the Clash, and joining them will be Vandy from the ANZ New Zealand, Australia-New Zealand region. So Vandy is a female caster who often co-casts with Skimmy. She also streams Heroes and Overwatch. So those of you not familiar with her, my internet will slowly pull up her Liquipedia page. Oh, there's nothing there. Oh, that's just
but she's actually really good. She is a really solid ANZ caster. I look forward to seeing her, and I think it's also awesome that we have another female caster.
Finally, right?
Yes. Like that's amazing.
I agree.
I'm super excited.
She's done ANZ season 2, 3, and 4. So she casted all 3 of the three of the 4 ANZ seasons last year. All right.
Yep.
Just to give you guys some perspective. All right.
All right. So I'm gonna jump down to the worldwide meta, and I want to make a couple comments about this. So it's interesting if you look at the patches over the last couple of weeks, the meta has shifted based on the patches, right? Tyrael got reworked. Tyrell's a lot better now. You know, so I think the worldwide meta that we have right now that is basically all the metas from all the regions through Phase 1 Part 1 off of Master League would look or looks drastically different if we do just the more recent patch. But I get but it's such a small sample size, it's hard to say, yeah, that's really what it shifted to. You know what I mean?
So for the guys, because you guys can't see the show notes right now, what I did is I did an all meta team. I did it for each region, but
this is a perfect plug. But if you want to see the show notes early, become a Patreon, because patrons get access to the show notes early. Anyway, continue.
In the show notes, I have an all meta team. It's through all of Phase 1, Part 1, and it's assuming the most popular draft comp, which is double warrior support and 2 assassins. Now, it's not perfect because patches come and go. So some of these heroes were more popular earlier in the season. Some of these heroes have become more popular later in the season, but have not gotten enough games to make it to crack the top, the top of the meta, so to speak.
This is a solid team, though, man. This is a solid team.
It is a solid team. So based on the worldwide meta, the all meta team, the number 1 warrior would be ETC with a 46% pick rate, a 24% ban rate, and a 56% win rate. The second warrior on that team would be Tyrael at a 44% pick rate with a 15% ban rate and a 45% win rate. The support on that team would be Uther with a 57% pick rate, 14% ban rate, 54% win rate. Your number 1 assassin would be Greymane, who makes it into 72% of games, has a 21% ban rate and a 45% win rate. And your second assassin would be Hanzo, is 58% pick rate, 28% ban rate, 60% win rate. Now, a lot of the regions kind of mirror each other, all kind of similar.
Right.
There are some changes from region to region. I'm not going to go through all of them because it would take forever. But I just wanted to highlight the worldwide meta and the all meta team through Phase 1, Part 1. And that, again, it's not a perfect system. I didn't go by popularity. Otherwise, Genji would have been on a lot of these rosters, but he gets banned
Yes.
in 99% of games, it feels like. So we don't.
Well, and we should see a lot of, oh man, why am I going blank on, Maev getting banned a lot as well.
Right. Well,
Same reason.
So she'll be around for the Clash, so that should be interesting.
Yeah.
And we'll have some meta talk for the Clash when that time comes.
Yep.
But other than that, that's really all we have on the meta stuff this week. I made an all meta team for each region, guys. So if you're a patron, you can pull up the show notes before the show. If not, you have to wait until the MP3 gets posted, and then you can click the show notes in the description and check that out there. All right, let's take a look at next week, shall we?
Previews. All right, so Korea. Korea's the only ones playing this weekend. All times Eastern like normal. The 4 a.m. game on Friday is Tempest versus Blossom. We both have Tempest winning that game. You have Blossom taking a map off of them with a 3-1, and I say, nope. Tempest is going to smoke them 3-0, call it a day. They want to go into that Eastern Clash looking strong.
I was just hedging my bets there with the 1. So
fair enough.
Pick. Safer pick.
And then we have at 6 a.m. Eastern, because it's going to be a 3-0, so Tempest Blossom will end early. We have Gluck versus Ballistics. Both of us calling for Ballistics to win. Again, you're at 3-1 and I'm at 3-0. I don't know, man. Ballistics look strong enough. They should be able to 3-0 that map. Or that match.
Is the 5th best team in Korea right now. They have done pretty well for an average team coming up major region. And again,
yes.
I'm hedging my bets here. I have to be really, really confident in a team to pick the 3-0.
Yeah. And then over to Saturday, we have Team Ace playing Feliz, 4 a.m. Saturday morning. We both picked 2-3. Team Ace losing to Feliz there.
I was going with the chalk here. I can't speak for you. I'm going with the chalk in a series that I think should be ultra competitive, but ultimately not really mean anything because it's the 7 seed and the 8 seed going at it.
Right.
It's the even in death of Korea versus, like the leftovers of Korea. It's just, it's just a team that qualified for the region and then another team that.
Well, but it could be leftovers diamond skin, right?
Well, I mean, like both these teams came.
Something crazy.
Well, what I mean is both these teams came up from the amateur scene. One backed their way in, and the other team actually qualified. It's just so it should be super competitive. But
Heroes Hearth LFM then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Except they're 7 and 8 right now. All right, and then the last game of the regular season for Phase 1 Part 1, Korea KSV Black versus Miracle. I have KSV Black 3-0ing Miracle. You have KSV Black 3-1ing Miracle. I hope all of your picks are wrong because I desperately need the points.
I did a little bit better than you last week, but not by much.
Well, it's good that Korea's been carrying me with my points this week. So, yeah. Yep.
So, looking at the points here, last week I scored 8 points. You scored 6. So for the season total, I'm sitting on 102 points to your 59.
And those 2 weeks just crushed me.
Well, 1 week you did really poorly, and 1 week you just completely missed. So
yeah, I was like dying that week. I didn't do anything. All right, so here's the deal. People that listen, people that follow us on Twitter, Trolls GG automatically tweets out. Right now, it's a Google form that you fill out to put your picks in. Winner of that is not currently a Trolls GG podcaster will be getting a couple of I'm gonna pick up some gift cards, Battle.net gift cards. Again, thanks to our patrons, I can do that and send codes to those people. So somebody out of Phase 1 Part 1 is going to win a code. We'll probably do first place and second place, and then we'll be resetting the points going into Phase 1 Part 2. And doing this again. But in the meantime, Bahgz is right. We'll probably do a bracket challenge for both Western Clash and Eastern Clash. We just need to look into the logistics of making that easy for you guys to fill out. And then we'll do some kind of prizes for that as well. I am actively working with an application developer so that this is not a Google form anymore, and can be kind of like Master League's challenge. Now that Master League is either going away or someone else is going to buy it. If you end up buying Master League and you want to sponsor for the challenge, let me know. I'd love to partner with you. But in the absence of that, we'll be writing our own application and doing it that way. So definitely follow Trolls GG on Twitter if you want to enter this contest. Obviously, it's ended. Korean picks. I mean, I guess you could pick, but even if you get all the Korean games right, you're not going to win enough points to win. But watch for that. Watch for the bracket challenge. All that comes from @TrollsGG on Twitter.
All right. Again, to highlight the games that you don't want to miss this weekend: Tempest versus Blossom, Friday at 4 a.m. and Saturday at 6 a.m. KSV versus Miracle. Those games are going to decide who the 3rd and 4th seed from Korea are at the East Flash. Like we said before, KSV most likely going to be the 3rd seed because all they have to do is beat Miracle, and Blossom has to beat Tempest. So Blossom needs Miracle from Miracle.
You know what? There's one more match you don't want to miss.
Oh yeah.
Roughly a couple hours after that Saturday 6 a.m. Korean game, KSV versus Miracle.
Oh God.
There's a Creators of the Storm tournament going on, which Bahgz will actually be playing in. Right here on twitch.tv/TrollsGG. So when you finish the KSV Miracle match, go make yourself some lunch, sit down in front of your TV, flip on Trolls GG, and watch Creators of the Storm.
Yep.
And Lashes in chat saying there's hype. Thank you, Lashes. There's definitely hype. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. We're in the home stretch, man. Daz and I are putting finishing touches on. You got to play Bahgz. It's going to be so much fun.
I hope I'm healthier by that time because I have to captain that ship and I am not.
I hope
prepared.
so too, man. It's going to be great though. It's going to be a great time. All right, let's jump over and do some amateur stuff.
All right.
And the Mastermind Storm is awaiting them. Welcome to the paint train.
Kill the boss! Kill the boss! Can they do it? It's too much damage for me! And that's GG!
All right, so last week, being on Tuesdays, we can't go over what the NA Open Division Cup finals are. So last week's Cup 3 results, SMV 2-0 Team Nightcare, and XD lost 2-0 to Trait Value, setting up a 3rd place match of Team XD versus Team Nightcare. XD 2-0ing Nightcare, and the finals were SMV versus Trait Value, SMV 2-0ing Trait Value. Before I jump into EU Open Division, I do want to throw out there that since we're on currently Cup 4 of NA Open Division Finals is happening right now. Well, actually, I guess semifinals is happening right now. We do have EID versus Team Nightcare as one of the finals, and then we have XD versus Rogue Eto as the second final. This is Rogue's first appearance in the semifinals. This is EID's first appearance in the semifinals. This is the first semifinal, if I remember correctly, that SMV is missing.
Mm-hmm.
And
that is correct.
Yes,
last week they knocked out Team Nightcare, and this week along the way, Team Nightcare was able to knock them.
Right. It's NA Open Division is crazy competitive right now. There's one more cup before a few week break, so there's Cup 5 next week, and then I think there's a 3-week break on the Open Division as the clashes happen. So no Open Division Cups during clash time, and then they start back up again. Finishing up at the Crucible. So definitely check it out. There's some super good heroes going on right now. It's going right now at Blizz Heroes and on Heroes Hype channel. So definitely watch those. And then EU. So over in EU, we had the Cup 4 finish up earlier today. Team Singularity losing to Terra's Rodzina 2-0. E-Punks beating Clausen's Army 2-1, setting up a 3rd place match, Clausen's Army versus Team Singularity. Team Singularity winning that 2-0. Team Singularity looks pretty solid right now. Other than they lost to Terra's Redzina again. And Terra's Redzina 2-0ing the E-Punks for their final, winning their second cup in a row. And this is also the second week in a row that they've defeated Singularity. So EU also looking strong. There's like 4 or 5 teams right at the top. I think next week I'll have more time, and we'll probably dive a little deeper into each of the open division regions and just kind of go over what the top couple of teams are and their point standings. Now that it's kind of settling in, we'll start covering that next week. And then Heroes of the Dorm regional play is still going. Definitely super happy it's on Twitch this time and not Facebook. Right, like solid casters. We have Haloran, we have the Source, we have Invernum, and then this past week we had Dunk Train on. I don't know if he's on this weekend or if it's gonna be somebody else. Actually, not this weekend, but tomorrow. Do you know? Did Dunk say whether he's gonna?
I have no idea. I wasn't able to catch the cast last weekend. So
basically, as I understand it, they're bringing in third guy, if you will, right? So it's not necessarily gonna be the same person each time. So Dunk was in previously. Haloran, the Source, and Invernum are the 3 that are always going to be there, and then they'll cycle through that 4th person. So definitely check it out. Solid play. There were a number of Dorm teams warming up for Dorm in Open Division the first 2 cups, but Dorm is taking most of their time now. But definitely check it out.
The viewership numbers looked really solid too, so I was happy to see that.
The production value is like insanely good. It's basically HGC, right? They're in the HGC studio. The production value is amazing. Definitely check it out. It's a great time for Heroes Esports, man.
It's a ton of content,
right?
which is awesome. It's super appreciative of that. Thank you for that, Blizzard.
There's not enough time in the day, man.
There
I
isn't.
can't watch all of Open Division and Dorm and HGC, and it's like, I love this stuff. I want to watch it all.
And just think China's been on a break for 2 weeks.
I know, and they start Monday. The playoffs start Monday. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
So it's insane to cover it all. We need location reporters. We need we need a Chinese informant. We need people in the trenches.
We need an ANC person because
we need an ANC person.
ANC Premier starts when does that start? Next week, I think.
And it's gonna function very similarly to the Gold Series League. So
right. How man? How? There's not enough hours in the day. If you're listening to this and you wanna join the trolls and help us report on all of this great Heroes Esports action, check out trolls.gg/join or tweet me at LiQuidGG or at Trollin HGC. Any of them will work. DMs are open for all of them. This somehow turned into an ad, and it's not supposed to be. I'm legitimately happy that we have so much Heroes Esports to talk about that I'm like, there's no way to cover it all. Like, I cannot. There are not enough hours in the day, Bahgz, for me to watch all of it anymore. Which is a great problem to have.
You did it. You broke me. You broke me. You finally did it at the end of the show. You broke me.
Don't die, man. Don't die. All right. I'm gonna close with that because I've broken Bahgz. Thank you all for listening to Trollin HGC, a weekly podcast about Heroes of the Storm Esports, a member of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. We stream live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrollsGG, every week, Tuesdays, usually at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Bahgz, if you can breathe well enough, where can people find you?
Guys, you can follow me on Twitter at BahgzHGC. You can watch me stream on twitch.tv/Bahgz. I have a weekly schedule posted on my Twitter. It's posted on the stream page as well on Twitch. I have a Discord that's out there as well. Tune in. I did a Kingdom Hearts stream the other day. I'm continuing to do that playthrough, as well as I hosted Armchair HGC the other day. Also, if you enjoyed tonight's show and enjoy other Blizzard esports, consider subscribing to the Weekly Blizz on iTunes, on YouTube. Check it out on Power Up Network on Twitch.tv. My buddy Nguaz and I cover all of Blizzard esports offerings, and it's out there on basically every podcast source. So give it a look. LiQuiuD, where can people follow you?
So the best place to follow me is on Twitter at LiQuidGG. I've been a little weak on Twitter the last couple days. Traveling just really throws my game off. But I usually tweet whenever I'm doing anything, whether it's this, whether it's streaming, which I do occasionally, whether it's just my thoughts on random Blizzard HGC things. That's where it comes from. So follow me there. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters, including our chieftain, Super Dave. We appreciate everything that you give us, and we use all of that to give back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter at Trollin HGC for show announcements or Heroes of the Storm esports news. You can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrollsGG. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/TrollsGG. You can subscribe to our show on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, anywhere else podcasts are. And make sure to tell us how we're doing by commenting or giving us a rating. We love feedback, and we'll usually read them on the show. You can also visit our website, www.trolls.gg, to read all the articles that our writers are putting up there. You can catch all of our podcasts, whether it's this, entry-level esports, the Nexus Trolls, all done on that website. And if you need to get in touch with us, Twitter DMs are open at Trollin HGC, or you can email us, trollin@trolls.gg. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for joining us in chat. Thank you for listening. If you're listening on a podcast, we will see you in the Nexus.
Peace out.